Maybe I'm Learning to Choose Myself is a novel by VMS. The prologue, it is a second sunrise. Most people think life has two halves, youth for dreams and adulthood for duties, but Meera and Rajiv never believed in halves. They believed in survival. For 50 years, they lived responsibility, dutiful spouses, and dedicated parents, flawless professionals, and they built business, carried burdens, and paid emotional debts. Yet they forgot the simplest truth. Life does not end when the hair grays. Life ends when the heart stops wanting. I repeat, life does not end when the hair grays. Life ends when the heart stops wanting. This is a story of two souls who refuse to stop wanting. And it is a story of choosing oneself even after decades of self forgetting. A story of love arriving not late, but exactly when both were ready to receive it. And the first chapter, it is about the life Mira built but never lived. After almost at 52 years, Mira was a portrait of success, founder of a respected chain of design studios, a mentor of young entrepreneurs, and a woman whose strength people admired and whose loneliness people ignored. Her home, once vibrant, has fallen silent. Her marriage was now two polite signatures living under one roof, and she woke every morning with a discipline but no joy. She slept every night with peace but no warmth. But on her 52nd birthday, she made a quiet promise to herself, this year I will not abandon myself. And she didn't know how, and she only knew that change was overdue. And the next chapter, it is about Rajiv, the man who had everything except himself, and he had power enough to bend markets, influence boards, rewrite contracts. He is a business magnate, multi-crore turnover, but none of this could warm his heart. At 55, he was respected everywhere and understood nowhere. His marriage has become a memory preserved for society's sake, and his house was filled with expensive furniture, and he too felt one among them and the emotional dust. He lived like a man who had forgotten the taste of laughter, but one evening while watching the sunset through his office glass, he felt a sudden ache. I didn't work this hard to feel this empty. That was the beginning of his awakening, and the next chapter is about not a meeting but a remembering. They met at a leadership retreat in Goa, a place chosen to polish the brains of CEOs, but ended up polishing their souls. Mira walked in with quiet elegance, and Rajiv walked with his tired power. But when their eyes met, something shifted. No attraction, not curiosity, something deeper, a whisper of recognition, as if they had known each other some forgotten lifetime. Unfinished conversations returning after decades, and Rajiv felt warmth and Meera felt clarity. Fate felt satisfied. And the conversation, too honest to be accidental, their first conversation happened by chance but continued by choice. They laughed about leadership jargon, they discussed loneliness without naming it, they talked about marriage without bitterness, and Meera said, I think after 50, emotions become sharper than weaker. Rajiv replied softly, I think after 50, truth becomes harder to ignore, and their words were not flirtations and they were confessions. Something fragile and powerful began forming between them, the first spark of self choosing. As days passed, they found reasons to talk, and reasons felt like destiny. Meera started smiling again, not with her lips but with her eyes, and Rajiv started feeling alive again, not through success but through presence. And they didn't call it love, they didn't call it anything. And the next chapter, it is about the kind of intimacy, the karmic echoes, I could say. One evening they sat under a banyan tree by sea, and the air smelled of salt and destiny. Mira whispered, do you ever feel some people return to complete a story? And Rajiv nodded with a seriousness that surprised even him. Some souls don't meet, they reunite. The wind moved between them like a blessing, and it was the night their karmic threads woke up. And when intimacy is their first emotion, their intimacy did not begin with the touch, it began with vulnerability. Rajiv spoke about his loneliness, Meera spoke about her exhaustion. Both spoke of lives that looked perfect from outside and hollow inside. When Rajiv gently held Meera's hand that night, it wasn't desire, it was recognition. Meera did not pull back. She felt understood, not admired, not desired.